All right, gotta say, Tesla's end-of-year report is wild.
Yeah.
It's like,
They have a
whoa.
lot to take in.
Record sales in Europe, self-driving tech that feels like straight out of the future,
Yeah.
and a charging network everyone's trying to catch up to.
Yeah, keeping up with all the Tesla news these days, uh, you need a whole team for that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So we've got a bunch of reports and articles here. Where do we even start?
Well, the sales number is pretty crazy, right? What's happening in Spain is insane.
You mean Model 3 outselling gas cars?
It's a
It's a total shift.
complete takeover, like watching the market change in real time.
213% increase year over year, ending December basically tied with the Toyota CHR.
Over 2,231 Model 3s sold in December alone. But what's the reason? Is it Tesla's boost campaign with those discounts? Or Spain's EV incentives?
Maybe both, right? The Boost campaign is a bold move, undercutting competitors on price when everyone's trying to get in the game.
Yeah, it's risky.
Could backfire.
Definitely a balancing act. Attract buyers, but stay profitable. I think Spain's incentives and their demand for EVs are making this work. But can they do this everywhere?
Good point. So Spain might be unique. What about their global sales for the whole year?
So, projections for Q4 deliveries. Over 500,000 vehicles,
Oh.
putting them at about 1.81 million for 2024. Massive growth.
But here's the thing. The auto industry is having a tough time.
Yeah, interest rates are up. People aren't spending as much.
It's making things tough.
So for Tesla to be hitting these numbers now, that's got to worry the competition.
Totally. They're not just riding the EV wave, they're controlling it. But it's not just about sales. Did you see the Cybercab reveal?
Oh, yeah.
No steering wheel, just an Xbox controller.
I thought it was a joke, like straight out of a movie.
But they're actually going to start public road tests early next year.
I can't even picture that.
It's totally rethinking how we drive.
Yeah.
No more steering wheels, just interfaces. Huge gamble. But if it works,
It's game-changing.
it really is. But is this really autonomous driving? Or a PR stunt?
Well, it's getting people talking.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of both. Tesla's always pushing boundaries. This could be how they get real-world data for their autonomous tech and get attention at the same time.
I was skeptical at first, but the more we talk about it, I'm starting to see it. But they still have a lot to prove.
For sure. And speaking of proving things, their holiday software update has some cool stuff. Apple Watch, saving dashcam clips to your phone, better rear cross traffic alerts. They never stop.
It's so different from other car companies, always getting updates.
Yeah, your car just keeps getting better. It's that software focus. A big difference in the industry. And people like it. But this was unexpected. Hyundai's using Tesla's charging standard.
What?
What?
When I saw that headline, I thought I was reading it wrong.
Hyundai's giving free adapters to use Tesla's superchargers. Why would they do that? They're supposed to be competitors.
It doesn't make sense at first.
But think about it. Building a charging network is expensive and takes forever. Now they can just use Teslas and give their customers access to thousands of chargers. A smart move.
So they're playing it smart, focusing on what their customers need. But what about all the other car companies?
Will they switch to NACS too?
Maybe?
Who wants to be left behind? This could be what makes NACS the standard.
And Tesla just turned their network into a huge advantage.
Exactly. It puts them in a really powerful position. But don't forget, Tesla's still a young company. They've had their problems.
Yeah, like the Model 3 production delays
Yeah.
and all the autopilot stuff.
It hasn't always been smooth sailing,
Definitely not.
but they always seem to come out stronger. They take risks. They learn.
Okay, let's talk about the Cybercab again. I'm still stuck on the game controller thing. Is that even allowed?
That's a good question. Honestly, nobody really knows. We're in new territory here.
So Tesla's basically making the rules as they go.
Kinda, yeah. They're pushing the limits, and the rules are trying to catch up.
But driving is a big deal. You have to think about safety. Can a game controller really be as good as a steering wheel?
They say it's better for autonomous driving, more responsive, but obviously it needs testing, a lot of testing.
We'll have to see what happens with those road tests. I'm curious how people will react to this. It's so different. But even if it's a success, what about all the charging? Will there be enough superchargers for all these new Teslas and now Hyundais?
It's a valid concern, but Tesla's adding superchargers really fast.
Yeah, they're everywhere now. It seems like there's a new one every week.
And they're not just building more, they're making them better. Restrooms, restaurants, even dog parks at some of them.
Dog parks. A charging station.
Yep, they're making them places you want to be, not just quick stops. They get it. Charging needs to be easy and fun if people are going to switch to electric.
They're thinking about the whole
A
experience.
whole thing, yeah?
But is this too much too fast? Are they spreading themselves too thin?
That's a good point. Growing this fast is tough. Quality and happy customers, that's what matters as they get bigger.
Yeah, even the best companies can mess up if they forget the basics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But so far, they're exceeding expectations. They're handling this crazy market really well.
Okay, we've talked about a lot. Sales, new tech, partnerships. It's a lot to take in. But before we wrap up, remember, you said Tesla is still a young company.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen in the next 5, 10 years?
Hard to say for sure. But I think they'll keep changing the car industry, keep pushing boundaries. They like to do things differently, try new stuff, and that makes them interesting.
They definitely keep us on our toes. But what about the bigger picture? How will all this change transportation? Are we headed for a world of electric, self-driving cars, all powered by Tesla?
That's a big question.
It is.
And it's one a lot of people are asking. We'll see how the EV revolution plays out. It's
Okay.
crazy how much they've done in such a short time. They're like this small company, and now they're changing everything.
Yeah, and it's not just what they're doing, it's how fast. Every week, it's like, bam, new innovation, new partnership. Speaking of, let's go back to Hyundai. Why do you think they went with NACS?
It's got to be about keeping things simple,
Yeah.
right? And the customer experience. Building a charging network takes forever, costs a fortune. Now they can just use Teslas. Their customers get thousands of chargers.
So they're thinking long term, not reinventing the wheel, just giving their customers what they need. Smart. But what does this mean for the other car companies?
Are we going to see everyone switch to NACS?
Well, it's possible.
As more companies do it, the others will have to follow, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be left behind.
Yeah.
This could be it. NACS becomes a standard.
And Tesla, they've got everyone right where they want them.
Totally. It gives them so much power, so much control. But remember, they're still a young company. They've had their ups and downs.
Oh, for sure, those early Model 3 problems.
Yeah, and the autopilot stuff,
It hasn't been easy.
definitely not. But they always seem to bounce back. They learn, they adapt.
Okay, back to the Cybercab. I'm still trying to understand the game controller thing. Is that even legal?
It's a great question. And honestly, no one really knows yet. It's so new.
So Tesla's writing the rules as they go.
Kinda, yeah. Pushing the boundaries, and everyone else is trying to catch up.
But driving is serious business. There are safety issues here. Is a game controller really as safe as a steering wheel? Can it be as precise?
They say it's better for self-driving, more intuitive, more responsive. But yeah, it needs to be tested like a lot.
I guess those road tests will tell us. I'm really curious to see how people react to this. It's so different. But even if it works, what about charging? Will there be enough superchargers for all these new Teslas and now Hyundais too?
That's a good point. But Tesla's building them so fast.
You know, they're popping up everywhere.
And they're not just building more, they're making them nicer. Like some of them have restrooms, places to eat, even dog parks.
Dog parks and charging stations.
They're making them into destinations. Not just a place to charge, but a place to hang out. They understand if people are going to switch to EVs, charging needs to be easy and fun.
They're thinking about the whole experience.
Exactly. The whole thing.
But are they doing too much? Are they spreading themselves too thin?
It's a risk, for sure.
Yeah.
Growing this fast is hard. They need to make sure things are good, keep their customers happy as they get bigger.
Yeah. You can be the most innovative company in the world, but if you forget the basics, you're in trouble.
True. But so far, they're doing great. They're handling all this change really well.
Okay, so we've talked about sales, new tech, big partnerships, a lot to unpack. But before we wrap up, remember you said Tesla's still a young company?
Uh-huh.
What do you see happening in the next, say, 5, 10 years?
It's hard to know for sure, but I think they'll keep shaking things up. They're not afraid to try new things, do things differently, and that makes them exciting.
They definitely keep things interesting. But what about the bigger picture? How will this change the future of transportation? Are we heading towards a world of electric cars, all self-driving, all powered by Tesla?
Now, that's the question, isn't it? It's the question everyone's asking.
It's crazy to think just a few years ago, electric cars were like a novelty. Now they're the future, and Tesla's leading the way.
It's been amazing to watch,
Yeah.
and it's only getting started. Everything you're doing now, it's building the future of transportation.
That's what's so cool about this. It's not just about electric cars replacing gas cars. It's a whole new way of thinking about how we get around.
Exactly. And Tesla gets that. The software, the connectivity, the whole experience, people are responding to that.
Speaking of people, Let's hear what our listeners have to say. We asked you for your thoughts on Tesla's crazy year, and you guys had some interesting things to share.
I'm always curious to hear what people think.
Okay, here's one from Sarah. With all these other car companies going electric, can Tesla stay on top?
That's a great question, Sarah. And it's something a lot of people are wondering. The competition is getting tougher, for sure. But Tesla has a few things going for them.
Like what? What makes them different?
Well, they've got this strong brand. People love Tesla. And once you buy a Tesla, you're kind of hooked. It's not just a car, it's like a club. Other car companies just don't have that.
Yeah, it's more than just a car.
Right. Plus, Tesla's way ahead on technology. And they've got the charging network that's huge. They've been doing this longer. They've figured out a lot of the problems.
Shows they've thought ahead.
Exactly. They're not just making cars, they're building the whole system. It's a smart plan.
Okay, here's David's question. What's the biggest challenge for Tesla going forward?
That's a tough one. We've talked about the competition. All those other car companies, they're putting a lot of money into EVs now. They could catch up.
So Tesla can't just relax.
Nope. They got to keep pushing, keep innovating.
Stay ahead of the game.
Exactly. And they can't mess up. Any problems, any bad press, that could hurt them. Keeping their customers happy, that's crucial.
Yeah, your reputation is everything. Okay, last question. This one's from Maria. Will Tesla ever make a truly affordable electric car?
A lot of people want to know that, Maria. A cheaper EV would open things up. More people could go electric. It would really speed things up.
That would change everything.
For sure.
But hasn't Tesla always been about luxury cars? Would a cheaper car hurt their image?
That's the tough part. They want to make EVs for everyone, but they also need to protect their brand, make money. It's a balancing act.
We'll have to see what they do. But one thing's for sure. Tesla always keeps us guessing.
Always. They're a fascinating company. They do things their own way, and it's working.
So that wraps up our deep dive into Tesla. We talked about record sales, mind-blowing technology, and how they're changing the entire car industry. But this is just the beginning. The EV revolution is here.
The future of transportation is being written right now, and Tesla's right at the center of it.
So buckle up, everyone. Things are about to get interesting. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.